more comments. And I'm going to read for you and kind of give you some background so you'll we got here today. It all started on the 2nd of July when our current suspect, Gary Cawley, and his girlfriend, Amy Cawley, maybe his wife, they're estranged, had a domestic violence event. He has not been living at this residence. He doesn't live here at all. So deputies obviously were dispatched. He was gone. We've not been able to locate him. So now we're up to the 5th of July. On the 5th of July, there's a home invasion here where two males break in. One of them is described as a black male not wearing a mask. The other is described as either a white or a brown male wearing a mask. And they break in with guns on Amy and the daughter, Ryland. They look around and they leave. They don't say a word. And what's interesting about that is they didn't plunder, they didn't threaten, they didn't talk, but apparently they were looking for Gary Cawley. So the sheriff's office was called again about the home invasion. So now we're here on the 7th of July. Gary Cawley shows up this morning about 4 a.m. When he shows up at 4 a.m., he's very agitated. And he and Amy argue all through the morning about their marital status. Amy doesn't call the sheriff's office to report that he's back. And this afternoon, at about 1:10, Amy said, "Look, I'm tired of you. I'm going to the beach, and I'm taking Ryland with me." Ryland let it slip out. Ryland is only 6 years old, that they were going to the beach with another guy. And this other guy happens to be someone that Gary doesn't like at all. So Gary says, "Ryland's staying with me." So he grabs Ryland. And at that time, Amy calls the sheriff's office. So he keeps Ryland inside. Amy comes outside, notifies the sheriff's office, and the standoff begins. And that's where we are now. We have communicated with Gary all through the afternoon. He clearly indicates that, hey, this is my daughter. I'm not going to hurt her. I don't want to go to jail. I'm not coming out. And so we are as comfortable as we can be at this point in the investigation and at this point of the hostage event, that Gary shows no proclivity to hurt his 6-year-old daughter. He truly appears to love her. We can hear her in the background. She appears happy. She's talked. She actually talked to our hostage negotiators at one point. And we are as comfortable as we possibly can be. Gary has said for the last 2 or 3 hours that he's sending her out. I'm putting her shoes on, I'm sending her out. On one occasion he cracks the door and then he closes it because he says he's freaked out because he sees our robot. Obviously our SWAT team's deployed and we're prepared to peacefully resolve this thing, which is certainly our hope. But that's up to Gary. And he can start by letting us get his daughter out of harm's way. And then he can walk out with his hands up and we will put handcuffs on him and take him to jail. And there won't be any problems at all. But let me make it abundantly clear. He's going to jail when this event's over with. So whether he comes out in 5 minutes or 5 more hours, He's got to go to jail. Our concerns for the daughter, his daughter, and quite frankly, the benefit that we have is apparently he's concerned about her safety and well-being too, which we're very happy about. There has never during this episode been any indication at all that he'd harm this 6-year-old girl that's with him, but obviously we are not going to be comfortable until the 6-year-old's safe and Gary's appropriately arrested. Any questions?
Does he have a weapon?
He does. He has a handgun, and he threatened suicide earlier during the day. He told when he and Amy were arguing, and she said, "I'm taking Ryland. I'm going. Well, I'll just kill myself." He went into the garage and got a handgun. Amy said, "I didn't even know there was a firearm in the house." So he retrieved a firearm from someplace in the house and then pointed it and said, "I'll just kill myself." He didn't threaten to shoot Amy. He's not threatened any violence to a 6-year-old daughter, but he does have a firearm. He has threatened suicide. He doesn't want to go to jail, and fortunately for us, he loves that 6-year-old girl and doesn't want to see her hurt, and of course neither do we, and we're going to do everything in our power to resolve this peacefully. It would certainly help us if Gary would cooperate a little bit.
So what charges would he face?
Well, we are not going to discuss all of the charges that he could possibly face at this point because we know that he's watching all of this communication. He's watching the Facebook Live apparently, or someone's FaceTiming with him, or I don't know how he's getting his information, but every time he sees something about criminal charges, it upsets him, and it creates more pressure and stress on our hostage negotiators.
But you're not calling it a hostage situation?
Well, it obviously is a hostage situation because he won't let the 6-year-old girl go. So yes, he's holding her hostage. If she weren't in there, it would be a lot easier situation. Then we would tell him we had arrest warrants for him and to come out, and if he didn't, we'd introduce gas, and then he would come out on his own because it would be uncomfortable in there.
Is he still talking about suicide, or has he dropped that topic?
He's not made any more comments about suicide, and certainly we hope that he doesn't commit suicide. That would be a horribly tragic thing to occur in the presence of his 6-year-old daughter. He loves her, and if he loves her as much as he tells us he does, the best thing he can do is let her come out. Now, we're dealing with this event in such a manner so that we create like zero stress for the 6-year-old. Our team, our SWAT team, our hostage negotiators are simply the very best, and we're dealing with this as delicately as we can. And at the end of the day, all Gary's got to do is let the young lady come out. Hey, if he's worried about being hurt, we don't intend to hurt him. He can come out with her and then hand her to us, and then we'll put handcuffs on him and put him in a patrol car, and that'll be the end of that.
Anything that they're needing to offer them, any food, I don't know their situation inside there, their things.
No, they're not in any distress at all in the house.
How about Amy?
Amy's fine. We hear her playing. We've talked to her on the phone. Amy's in good spirits and great shape.
How's the mother?
I'm sorry. I was thinking of Ryan. We are talking to Amy. Amy is here now, and Amy is all right. She's not been injured, and certainly she wants a quick resolution to the problem, but I don't get any indication at this point in the investigation that she's overtly concerned about the well-being of Ryan, because I think Amy is comfortable that Gary loves Ryan very much as well. So Ryan is being used as the tool to keep Gary from going to jail, and obviously if Gary loves Ryan like he says he loves Ryan, he certainly will emotionally and mentally should not have her in this situation. But once again, she does not seem in distress from everything that we can tell.
Any buyers you've had to visit with them before? Have you have you prior to this?
Yes, he has a colorful criminal history.
Involving, can you give us a
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
Yeah. He was on probation for domestic violence.
Concerns at this point. I mean, you're here for the long haul, obviously. You've got time on your side, but concerns of where this, is going to stay escalating if this thing drags on.
Well, certainly he's in control of how quickly we can resolve this. We can resolve this in 30 seconds, or we can resolve this in 24 more hours or 5 more hours or whatever is necessary. And we'll do whatever is necessary. You must understand, our concern is the 6-year-old daughter, and we're going to do everything we can to keep her safe. And the comfort level we have right now is we get zero indication from Gary that he is threatening any violence at all against this beautiful young lady. Are we concerned? Obviously we're concerned. But as hostage situation goes, and our experience tells us, we are concerned about everyone until we safely get them out. But I've seen hostage situations where at this point I would have been really, really, really nervous because of the conduct. But you have to accept him on face value when he says, I love my daughter. I'm not going to do anything to get my daughter hurt. And his actions are backing up those statements at this time.
What is his demeanor like?
Well, he becomes agitated when he sees the news, but he goes from being agitated to being very calm. And quite frankly, he just doesn't want to go to jail. And it's inevitable that he has created an environment where we have no choice. He's got to go to jail. And we want him to go to jail very peacefully. And that's why we're here doing what we're doing today.
Do you think this will upset him? Do you want to do this?
Well, of course it will, but we had to give you information because you were getting information anyway, and information was being put out on all kinds of social media and traditional media. So that's why we're here, so that if he sees this communication, he'll understand clearly, we're not mad at him. We want Ryan, or Ryland. We want Ryland to be let out of the house, so we can then take Gary to jail in a peaceful manner, and that's ultimately our goal.
How old is he, and are you bringing his family members in to kind of help?
He's not a kid. He's 39 years old.
What about his family? Any of his family that are helping?
We don't allow family members to negotiate because that's not good protocol. But certainly we are consulting with people that know his personality, and we're doing the appropriate things according to all of our protocols and training, and our hope and our prayer is that this resolves sooner rather than later. We'll resolve it. It's going to resolve. Gary's going to go to jail, and we're going to protect Ryland.
Are you able to show us which house it is?
It's you can't see it from here. I don't believe I'll have them pointed out, and you can zoom in down there. But
Did the father live there with his daughter?
Excuse me? He did not live there. He showed up this morning at 4 a.m. He's been living, in fact, it all started, we've been looking for him for a domestic violence where he hit Amy here at this residence on July the 2nd and fled. So we never found him from that event. And we have information he's in Osceola, then we had information he's in Marion County. Well, at 4 o'clock he shows up here and he's agitated. And we're concerned because we know that there was a home invasion where 2 guys who, with guns, were looking for him, and they weren't very happy when they showed up here. Fortunately, they were stand-up home invaders and didn't try to hurt the lady and the 6-year-old either. They were just apparently looking for him, and I say apparently, we're not sure exactly, confident that he wasn't there. They didn't take anything, they didn't threaten, they didn't talk, they just looked around for him and left.
You don't know what that's a whole
We
other
don't know.
issue.
That's a whole nother issue, but it kind of gives us some history of he's got something going on in his life where there are other people not happy with him. So here we are on a hot July afternoon, and we'll be here until we get Ryland back safe and secure, and we hope peacefully to arrest Gary, and he'll be placed in the county jail.
And what about, I mean, you've got a lot of, I mean, this is affecting a lot of residents here that are having to be, some are displaced, I'm sure. Have you had to evacuate any people out of that area?
We've evacuated a lot of folks, and certainly they're not pleased with it. But once again, they understand when we've got a 6-year-old beautiful little girl's life hanging in the balance, obviously, until we get her out of that house, and we just have to do what we have to do.
How many people, you have any idea how many people were? Are you putting them anywhere?
A lot. I mean, they've gone to friends. They went out for the afternoon. There's been 2 or 3 that are in harm's way in the line of fire that didn't evacuate, but we've got records that they refused to evacuate, asked them to stay in their house and out of the way, and they have. But certainly we don't want and don't anticipate any gunfire. That's not what we want. But these people that didn't evacuate, if they catch a stray bullet through their house and into their body, that's on them. But our goal is for Gary to peacefully come out, and we harbor no ill will, and I can assure you we're not upset with Gary like the neighbors are that can't get back to their house.
Sheriff,
Okay.
you mentioned, he's watching, pretty much watching online.
Sure.
If he's watching right now, straight to the camera, is there something you just want to say?
Gary, at the end of the day, we care about and love Ryland. We want her here safe and secure. And you've got to go to jail. It's just whether you go in 5 minutes or 5 hours or 25 hours. But at the end of the day, we know you love Ryland and you don't want her hurt, and we're going to do everything in our power for that to occur, that she comes out safe and secure, and you come out safe and secure. But that's up to you how quickly it occurs.
And just to get the proper spelling of everybody involved here.
Amy, A-M-I-E, Cauley, C-A-U-L-E-Y.
A-M-I-E, Cauley,
A-U-L-E-Y. She's 36.
L-E-Y. She's how? 36.
Ryan Cauley is 6.
Ryan is spelled
R-Y-L-A-N.
L-A-N.
Ryland. And
6.
And the dad is Gary Cauley. White male, 39. Okay.
Cauley spelled
C-A-U-L-E-Y. All right. And folks, like I said, when this wraps up, we'll just send a notice out that it's wrapped up. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.